Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be doing a quick overnight. There's 5 of us. There's my 2 brothers and our friend Asia and her dad Chris. And we're just going to be going probably maybe a kilometer or 2, and then we're just going to spend the night in a cool area. Quick little river crossing. It can be pretty tricky without Crocs on, but if you have some Crocs on, it's really easy to walk across. Yeah, you don't want to fall over and get all your stuff all wet. All right, so we've hiked about maybe like 4.5 kilometers, I think, and I'm not sure. I think that's what you guys have been saying. But anyways, we found this really nice flat open area. It's got some good tree cover, so we're completely out of the wind, and yeah, now we're just finding nice, suitable places to set up our tents and whatnot. I'm gonna be sleeping under a tarp, so I think I'm gonna set up my tarp under these trees, kind of, and sleep in this little gully here. All right, so what I got here is I got my tarp strung between these 2 trees, and basically I'm trying to set up so it's nice and taut. So I got this other branch here. You want to pull it out nice and tight, and set the branch down, and put the tarp on top of it, and then run a tent peg out and stick it into the earth. That's like, well, yeah. And there, that braces up this corner here, so it's nice and tight. In my camping bag with my tarp, I always keep a bunch of tent pegs and about 5 9-foot pieces of rope. And sorry, I almost just got killed. But yeah, I keep all these sections of rope. It's enough rope. It's all in good usable sections, so I don't have to cut any rope. I don't have to bring a new spool of rope every time because I'm cutting into little sections all the time. I just have a few nice big pieces of rope to use, and that way it's less wasteful. I still have the garbage, the Spam cans from our trip. Alright, there we go. That's how you set up a nice big tarp. And if it comes on to rain tonight, I'm sure I'll be just fine. I've been bringing hockey tape on my camping trips lately because it's got a lot of uses. It's an amazing fire starter. You can use it as a bandage. And yeah, I go through about half a roll every time I go camping. But yeah, it's got a ton of uses, and I'm about to show you one. Fanny pack is also super useful. There we go. Now the stick won't damage the tarp because it's got the hockey tape bracing it. It's important to lay out your sleeping bag well before you go to bed, because when it's compressed, all the fibers get compressed as well, and you need to give it time to puff out, and then you'll get your maximum warmth out of it. Still talking to the camera.
Oh.
Now, a sleeping setup that I've been liking recently is putting my sleeping mat inside the sleeping bag and make sure I don't roll off of it. And I also have a liner because the plasticky feel of the inside of a sleeping bag can actually chill you down quite a bit. And just changing the texture with a very thin little liner like this helps a ton when you're sleeping. Now this big pile of wood here was all collected by hand, although if you want to get a lot of wood, or even just for building purposes, a saw like this is really good. It's only about $10. I'm going to go around and collect a little bit more firewood. Now you got to kind of be careful when you're collecting firewood, because a dead looking tree like this one might still have just a few little green boughs up at the top. And if you cut that down, not only are you killing a perfectly fine tree, but all your wood will still be alive and it won't burn. Alright, there's actually not a lot of dead standing wood around here, but there's one rare one right here. It's nice and dry. I could probably actually tip this over, it's so dry, but I want to go show you guys how good having a saw can be. That's a nice big tree. Took me just about 2 minutes to cut it. This tree's just falling apart. I know, it's kind of old and dead. Teamwork makes the dream work. Alright, what we have here on the ground is a bunch of deer hair. It's pretty old, so I'm guessing a deer probably got mauled here by a cougar and drug off somewhere a long time ago.
What makes you say that?
Because there's all this hair on the ground here.
Oh shit.
It's getting pretty dark out. It's about almost 10 o'clock. And it's early June, so the days are getting pretty long now. Alright, so now that it's time to start the fire, I got out my hockey tape, and in the handle of my knife, it's kind of like a Rambo knife. It's got a compartment in it. I always keep a lighter, just because it's a perfectly dry place for a little lighter like this. And a piece of hockey tape and a lighter makes it so easy to start a fire. Alright, the mosquitoes are getting pretty bad now, so the sooner we start this fire, the better. Just like that, the tape holds a nice flame. These dry branches burn like gasoline. Here we are cooking kind of far from camp because he's cooking fish and he doesn't want the smell to linger around camp. Very nice out here in the floodplain. This is what it's all about. What do you guys have for dinner? Lasagna.
Every single night on our last trip 2 weeks ago. And snowstorms and stuff, it was doable. Alright,
something I like to bring is a piece of plastic. You can use it as a ground sheet to sleep on top of, or you can sit by the fire.
It always freaks me out when he starts talking. It always like he's talking to me. I'm about to answer him all the time. I'm like, oh shit, he's recording.
Anyways, these are excellent meals. They're about $10, $10 to $15. You just pour boiling water in them, and they turn into really tasty dishes. This is 3-cheese lasagna, and yeah, just super easy, low effort, delicious food for when you're camping. All right, so I'm out here standing in the forest. Chase is over there, that little light over there. He's taking a dump. Although when you're out with people, it's very important to never leave anyone alone, just because mountain lions tend to only strike people who are alone. So even if someone's taking a dump in the night, you kind of just have to hang out 20 yards away from them just to make sure they don't get attacked. And in regards to solo camping, I tend to just be really cautious. I carry either a big knife or a machete or an axe with me when I'm squatted down there trying to take a crunch. So yeah, you don't have to be paranoid, because the odds of you getting attacked by anything are extremely low, but you just have to be cautious because you never know what can happen. So yeah, if I had a dollar for every time I had to stand or by someone while they're taking a dump, I would have $3. Yeah. Alright guys, it's about, oh man, my hair is looking whack. It's about, let's see, 2:16 in the morning actually, and I'm just going to bed. Yeah, it's really fun hanging out by the fire. I got some candy and pop and stuff that I was eating, and then we put all our food away down by the river, so hopefully the scent is carried a bit away by the stream. So yeah, just for bears, we have no food or any drinks or anything around camp. So yeah, I'm all ready to go to bed now. I'm going to crawl into my nice sleeping setup. And if it does come on to rain tonight, I'll be protected because of this giant tarp above me. Alright guys, good night. See you in the morning. Good morning guys, I just woke up. It was a pretty good sleep. I put my head inside my sleeping bag because there's mosquitoes buzzing around me. I probably should have just put on my hood and I should have done this. I should have put my balaclava on like this. Although instead I tucked my head inside of my sleeping bag, and that caused a lot of moisture to build up in there, and it kind of chilled me down closer towards the morning. Although other than that, it was a pretty good sleep. But yeah, when you're sleeping in your sleeping bag, try to keep your face poking out of the sleeping bag because you don't want moisture to build up inside. Anyways, I'm gonna start a very small fire just because we're gonna be moving here pretty quick, so I don't want any big logs on it. So I'm just gonna start a small fire really quick. Alright, this is something I carved last night. It's a spear. Pretty fun to throw. You see that big stump over there? I'm gonna carve it. I hit the tree. I have one more spear. There it is. Oh, pretty close. I'm gonna give this one more go. Oh, hit the tree. Oh, it was on course, but it clipped a branch. Alright, we're all cleaned up. You could hardly tell we were ever here except for a few saw marks. And yeah, we took away every single last little bit of garbage. And right now we're working on putting out the fire to the last ember. We purposely placed the fire in the middle of an opening and on rocky ground so it can't penetrate deep into the earth or anything. So yeah, we're sure this fire will be just fine. All right, we're gonna hike out of here now.
All right.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Everyone stand right here.
All right, so Colton found a milk crate washed up in a drift pile from a campground upstream, and we're bringing it out just because it's always a good idea to haul out any garbage you find out there. And yeah, we're just gonna toss it once we get to the parking lot.
I got a bag of garbage.
Yeah, he hauls out his garbage. Honestly, when you have small stuff, you can kind of just burn it in the fire, but when you have larger packaging and stuff, it's usually a good idea to haul it out. Alright, so Chris is crossing in bare feet, which is fine. In some rivers, this one's not too rocky. But I like to bring Crocs just because they're comfy to wear around camp, and they make river crossings really easy because you can just walk right over top of the rocks and it's not uncomfortable. You're not going to break your toe.
You always want to step on the flat stones as well.
Yeah.
Okay, it's getting cold now. Yeah. My legs are going numb. Oh, frozen stumps now. Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, and then as soon as your feet come out of the water, they just hurt. All your tendons are all tightened up and stuff. So yeah, you don't want to be in the cold water for too long. Alright, so now that I've filmed the camping part of the video, I'm going to go ahead and show you all the gear I brought. And the reason I did that was kind of just to show you how I use the gear, so you're not completely stumped once I'm showing you the items that I actually bring. So I'm going to lay out all my gear and give you guys a quick rundown on every single component of the gear I bring, and alternatives as well. So the first thing I'd like to go over in my kit is the clothing I bring. Starting off with footwear, I like to wear a nice lightweight hiking shoe, something with a lot of tread on the bottom for gripping onto those rough surfaces, and generally just something that can air out and dry, because chances are your feet are going to get kind of sweaty and they're going to have to dry out at some point or another. And with those, I like to wear just an athletic type sock, just so it doesn't get super wet and so it fits you better, and it's easier to hike in an athletic sock than say a thick wool sock. Around camp, I like to wear just a pair of Crocs. Super easy to slip on and slip off when you're getting into bed and whatnot. And I like to pair that with a nice heavy pair of wool socks. This will keep your feet warm and comfortable. And yeah, just a really great combination for walking around camp and stuff. So for the clothing I like to wear when I'm hiking, I like some pants that are nice and durable. I like full length pants. Some people like to hike in shorts, but I like these because I tend to go a little bit more off trail and stuff, and I don't like all the bushes scratching up my legs, so I like to wear long pants. These have big pockets everywhere. They're kind of like cargo pants. I absolutely love them because I can put all my little knickknacks and useful items in there. For a t-shirt, I just wear something nice, light, airy cotton, just something comfortable. I tuck it into my pants because the backpack will make the shirt ride up your back, and tucking it in keeps it in better. But yeah, for hiking, you just want something that's comfortable, cool. You don't want to get overheated. You don't want to sweat too much. Yeah, you just want to be comfortable when you're hiking. So for around camp, I like to change into something a little bit more warm and comfortable, because it gets dark and then the temperature drops pretty quick. These are thermals. They're basically like a really tight pair of pants, and you can also get them in shirts and whatnot. And they have this texture, so they're kind of thick, and it kind of just keeps a little bit of warm air close to your skin. And it's absolutely crazy how much warmer a thin little pair of thermals like this can keep you. So yeah, I like to change into these at night. And then along with that, I have 2 sweaters I bring. I'd rather bring 2 sweaters than 1 jacket, just because layering is a much more efficient way of regulating your body temperature. So the first layer I typically put on is a nice fleece like this. It's really comfortable to wear on my skin and stuff. On the outside, I have this this Baja type hoodie. I think it's made out of acrylic, so it's pretty fire resistant. It doesn't melt if sparks get on it. And yeah, absolutely super warm and durable. And then if it gets rainy, I actually have a rain poncho here. I like these ponchos more. Not exactly this model. I like the ones that have grommets on the corners because you can actually pin them out and use them as a ground sheet to sleep on. But yeah, a cheap rain poncho like this, it's way lighter than a rain jacket, way more versatile, and it'll keep you perfectly dry from the elements. And like I said, I do like to change into the Crocs and wool socks around camp just because it's a lot more comfortable and easy. The next part of my kit that I'm going to be going through is my sleep system. Starting out with my shelter. This is just a 9-foot by 9-foot tarp. It packs up into this really small bag, and in here I keep a bunch of little lengths of about 10 feet of rope. I think I keep about 6 of these, and I keep tent pegs to pin down the tarp and pin down the rope. You guys saw the shelter I did on that hike there, and it was a really fantastic shelter. If it came onto a torrential downpour, I get right in the middle of that and I'm perfectly dry. So yeah, just a simple tarp like this. There's infinite numbers of ways you can set up a tarp. So many cool shelters and stuff you can build. Or if you have the money for it, you can buy a nice ultralight tent. But I really like the tarp because I like sleeping in the open air. I find there's better ventilation, and I feel a little bit more safe because I can respond quicker if, say, there's an animal in camp. If I'm in a tent, I don't want to be tangled up in my little tent trying to unzip it and get out. I like to be able to just jump up and get out at a moment's notice. So the item that I like to sleep on is one of these Thermarest mats. They're a nice soft padded foam mat that just extends all the way out like this. And yeah, I find them really comfortable, although you kind of have to set them up on level ground. If you're sleeping on something like rocks or a bunch of sticks or something, the sticks will kind of poke through this and give you like an imbalanced sleep. They kind of poke into your side sometimes. So you want some nice flat ground if you're going to sleep on these, although I find them perfectly alright. Although if at home you sleep on like a really soft mattress, I would recommend buying an air mattress. They're a little more expensive. They're like literally anywhere from $70 to like $200 for a good inflatable air mat. Although I find one of these works just fine, and these can't pop, so they're much more durable. The sleeping bag I sleep in is this Mountain Equipment Co-op mummy bag. It's rated down to -7. That's a little too warm for this season. There's a couple, I think I might get a new sleeping bag, just because you guys saw in the video, this last one kind of got dewy and kind of got me cold, even though it was far warmer than -7, just because of the way the bag performed. You can still get chilled if your sleeping bag gets wet. So the gist of this is buy a sleeping bag that is rated to the temperature you're going to be camping in and keep it as dry as possible. And if you do that, you'll have a perfect sleep guaranteed. Another thing I bring along with my sleeping bag is a sleeping bag liner. This is a fleece liner. I just find the plasticky kind of feeling material of the inside of the sleeping bag can kind of chill you down more. So just a thin fleece lining will absolutely change the texture of the sleeping bag and make it much more comfortable. The last item of my shelter and sleep system is actually a ski mask. I don't include this with my clothing because I don't wear them unless I'm sleeping. I find them actually a little bit cumbersome when I'm walking around. But you're gonna want to stick your head out of your sleeping bag in order to keep all the moisture out of your sleeping bag. And for that, putting on just a hat like this can keep your head nice and warm and comfortable while it's sticking out of the sleeping bag. Because like you guys saw in the video, my head went in the sleeping bag because of a few mosquitoes, and then my sleeping bag just got all damp inside and I got kind of chilled down. So having one of these so you can stick your head out of your sleeping bag is super useful. So these here are some of the tools I bring on my camping trips. We'll start out with the saw. This saw only cost me about $10, although it can cut through wood super fast. You can cut down huge pieces of wood. This is a must-have if you're going to be harvesting a lot of firewood or building a shelter. Yeah, just make sure you be safe with it. I've cut my fingers on the saw blade plenty of times. So yeah, the saw is must-have. So obviously you're going to need a knife for a camping trip. This is the knife I bring. It's a big, heavy-duty knife. It's got a compartment in the handle, and I just know this knife is absolutely indestructible. and I love it for that. I can put a little lighter in the handle. But yeah, this knife set me back about $140. And if you're just starting out and don't really want to drop that much money on a knife, something like this little Hultafors knife will do. This knife only costs about $13, and it'll do everything that knife does, just to a lesser degree. And yeah, a knife like this will absolutely get the job done. But yeah, if you lose it, you can just buy a new one. It's only 13 bucks. If it gets super dull and you don't have a sharpener, you can just buy a new one. So yeah, if you're starting out, buy a cheap knife like this. It'll last you if you treat it right. And yeah, it's just a super awesome tool to have. But if you're like me and you want something more cool, go ahead and drop the $140 and get a cooler one. Another tool I bring, this is the Boreal machete. This is a tool I made. It's really unique, and I'm not really recommending you try to buy one or find one anywhere because you can't. But yeah, it's just got an incredibly thick spine, and it's razor sharp. It can just chop down trees, it can debark trees, it can delimb trees. It's just an ultimate tool. It's a perfect mix between a knife and an axe. I absolutely love it, although you're gonna have a pretty hard time finding one of these. But if you really want something like this, the Silky Nada is a tool made by Silky Saws. They make all sorts of saws and tools and stuff. But yeah, it's called the Silky Nada. It's very similar to this. But yeah, you'll have to look that one up. Another reason I like to carry the Boreal machete and the big knife is because animals are a very real danger out there. Incredibly unlikely you'll ever be attacked by an animal, but I get kind of scared when I'm out there in the woods, especially when I'm alone. It can be kind of scary, and just having a big knife or a big machete at my disposal can make me just feel a lot more comfortable, even though the risk is very low. Alright, so this is the backpack I bring. It's just a Walmart backpack. It retails for about $150, but we bought them many years ago and we've been using them all the time, and they've held up great. This is a 60-liter backpack, which I think is a good beginner backpack, just because your stuff isn't all small and ultralight yet, so you're not going to be able to fit it into, say, a 40-liter. So this is a great backpack. It has a big compartment, just a big main compartment, and it's got a little compartment in the top, and it's got a couple water bottle holders on the side. Something you'll absolutely need with a backpack is hip support. I find that you want to put most of the weight on your hips, not your shoulders. That's why it comes with these just huge, big hip grabbers, and you put these around your stomach and you tighten them up really tight, and they sit way up on your hips, and then that way all the weight is lower on your body and it's going straight from your hips into your legs, and that way your legs do more of the carrying than your shoulders. Although something that's also important, some people find this important, I don't really use the chest strap. I just find it restricts my breathing, and they always just like, I don't know, they feel uncomfortable around my chest. But these can also keep a lot of the weight off the outside of your shoulders. And yeah, a lot of people find a chest strap makes the backpack more comfortable. Alright, so right here we have some more miscellaneous items. They're all important, although some are way more important than others. We'll just get a start on this side and go over. So first up we have a camping pot. You'll want something stainless steel so it can resist the heat and stuff. If you buy an aluminum one, it might melt if it, say, falls in the fire. I've actually melted an aluminum pot before by accident. But yeah, this is a great little one. Cost me about $15. It's got measurements on the inside. And yeah, you'll just want a nice stainless steel pot that you can put right on the fire to boil water for your food and whatnot. Next up, you'll want a stainless steel single-walled water bottle. These things are super affordable. You can find them at any thrift store. The reason you want them to be stainless steel is so you can screw the lid off and put your water in there and boil it for coffee, or even just for water purification. Because sometimes if you get water from lakes or some dirty streams generally around cities, you can get quite sick from it. Although I would say most of the time, the mountain streams and even some of the mountain rivers, you're at no risk of getting parasites. So yeah, it's kind of your call if you feel safe drinking the water. Although if you're far away from the rest of civilization, chances are that water is perfectly safe to drink. But having a steel water bottle can help you boil it. Over here we have a couple miscellaneous items. I have a thing of super glue. This is super helpful for small repairs, and even if you're in a situation you might have to glue a wound shut, just a super versatile little tool you can have. Next up, you absolutely need to bring a lighter. It's so easy, it's such a simple thing to forget, but you need a lighter just for lighting your fires and whatnot and starting your camp stove. Yeah, definitely bring a lighter. Bring multiple lighters. Put a lighter in every pocket if you have to. Right here we just have a little notebook and pen. I find that around camp it can be fun to doodle and stuff. You don't have service or internet or anything, so there's not much to do. But yeah, you can sit there and doodle or write down your thoughts. Fun little thing to do activity. Right here we have a battery charger. I think this is just a 20,000 milliamp hour. I think that's the unit they use. This can charge my phone probably 4 or 5 times. You probably won't need this unless you're making a YouTube video. But yeah, taking a lot of pictures and stuff, using your camera a lot can drain the battery on your phone, and you just want to be able to recharge that. It's pretty heavy though, so if you don't absolutely need to bring this, I would say don't bring it because it's very heavy, and a bunch of little items like this can add up the weight fast. Right here we have some toilet paper for obvious reasons. But yeah, just when you're in the woods, dig a hole, do your business, bury everything, and that's just proper etiquette because you don't want to leave nasty stuff around the woods like that. So just a good reminder, and obviously bring toilet paper. I find wet wipes work very good as well, so consider wet wipes as well. Here we have a fanny pack. This is super useful. I put all my little stuff in here. All the things I use on a regular basis. I put my lighters, I put my asthma inhaler, I put sometimes my knife in here. Yeah, just a fanny pack, super useful, big easy access pocket right on the front of your body. Right here we have my flashlight and a bunch of extra batteries. You want to get a headlamp rather than a flashlight, just because a headlamp is hands-free and it's super useful. So go out there, buy a headlamp that suits your needs and suits your budget. This headlamp I think was about $45. It's a pretty high quality one. And also make sure to bring extra batteries, because if you're using it all night on high power, it can actually drain the battery pretty fast, so make sure you have extra batteries. What we have here is actually a device for signaling for SOS and also communicating with a few people back at home. It's pretty expensive. I don't think I would have bought one of these on my own. Luckily for me, my mom bought it for me, because yeah, your parents and your family members and your loved ones are gonna always be super worried about you no matter what. Even if what you're doing seems very safe and mundane to you, they're gonna be super worried. So having something like this, a little satellite beacon, is super useful. It's about $350, although you can use it with your phone to send messages to whoever has your contact. And it also has an emergency SOS button. You flip this up, you hold down this button, and it'll send your exact coordinates to search and rescue. Yeah, pretty expensive investment, although it's a game changer. If you're down and your ankle's broken, this could save your life. Here we have a few bit of medicine and hygiene products. I would say just bring a toothbrush. Don't worry about the toothpaste. Don't worry about your floss. Like I said, little things add up fast, and just adding a little tube of toothpaste or some deodorant, it adds up. It adds up in your bag, and your bag gets super heavy if you add so many little things. So I'd say just bring a toothbrush, brush your teeth with water, and you'll feel absolutely perfect. Here we have a little bit of pain medication and some allergy medication. I get a lot of allergies and stuff, although the pain medication, sometimes I get headaches if I've been cutting a lot of wood or something. So this stuff is super useful. A lot of people in your group might forget it, so bring extra for other people, and they'll thank you for it. If you have asthma, obviously bring any medication you need. So this is a can of bear mace. I'm not really sure how much I trust bear mace. I've heard a lot of stories where people spray it and the wind blows it back in their face. Sometimes they spray it and the bear just charges right through the cloud and kills them anyways. So kind of do some of your own research on this stuff. But I bring it just because it makes the people around me feel better. I think a lot of people see bear mace and think it's the absolute perfect barrier for bears, but it's just a deterrent. If a bear is really dead set on attacking you, it's gonna do it. This might even just piss it off more. So yeah, use at your own discretion, do your own research. And last thing here is some hockey tape. I find it super useful for repairs. It's super flammable, so it makes a perfect fire starter. And if you get injured, you might have to tape up a wound really fast. A while ago on one of my camping trips, I slit my finger, absolutely terrible, all the way down to the bone. I had to get like 5 stitches, but we had some tape and we taped it up, and that stopped the bleeding until I could get back and get them to stitch it up. So yeah, it's a super multifunctional little thing to bring. So the last thing you'll want to bring is a ton of food. Any space you have left in your bag, I would say just fill it up with food appropriate to the amount of time that you're going to be out there. Freeze-dried meals are super good. They're just a little bag of this freeze-dried food. You just take off the top, pour in boiling water, and you have a delicious meal. Instant oatmeal is awesome for the morning because you can just pour it in some boiling water. It's done. Instant coffee is amazing. Cliff bars, they have a ton of calories and whatnot. So I like to also bring a ton of junk food and candy. I like pop and stuff just for the first night. I just like it. If I have room, I'll bring it. And you have to keep in mind that you're not going to have to carry all the way back, because the longer you're out there, the less food you're going to have to carry. So yeah, bring a ton of food. I found that if you're warm and if you're well fed, you'll have an awesome time and you won't even want to go back to the car. Alright, so I've packed up my bag. You want to put your sleeping bag on the bottom and all your heavy items close to your back, and then any other cumbersome or weird shaped items, just put them on the outside and make sure nothing's sticking too far away from your back. That's going to be swinging around and annoying you. And how you want to weigh your bag is you want to get on the scale first, see how much you weigh, and then you want to grab your bag and put it on, and then weigh yourself again and just add up the difference. This bag weighs almost exactly 20 pounds, and if I add a bunch more food, it would probably end up weighing about 26 or 27 pounds, and that is super lightweight. Anyone who's in decent shape can probably carry a bag like that 10 kilometers in one day, no problem. So yeah, that's basically just how you pack your bag, and then there's a couple other items that you wear on your belt, like your knife and stuff. So yeah, that's how you pack your bag. And then yeah, this is the bag I used on that camping trip, and it was super fun and easy. So yeah, that's how I do it. There's no one way to camp or anything. That's just my preferred way. So go out there, buy some affordable gear, and try it out, see how you like it. Change up your bag and stuff, bring different items, try different sleep systems, try tents, try hammocks, try just sleeping on the ground. And yeah, you'll have a ton of fun experimenting. You can record it and document your adventures like I do. It's super fun and rewarding. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you'd like more camping videos, leave a like and a comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching.